Okay, hello there, I'm Dennis. And in this video, we're going to install GhostBSD, but this time we're going to install the XFCE desktop. Official images are maintained and supported by GhostBSD developers and contributors. Developers and contributors will assume that when a user refers to GhostBSD on Telegram, the forums, or a bug report, you refer to GhostBSD with Mate. As of now, Mate is the only official desktop environment, but the community images are supported and we can get the XFCE. So that's what I did. Let's go over here. I've got it set up in my virtual box. I give it 8 gigabytes of RAM, 2 cores of my processor. It did not enable the EFI. Turn the video memory all the way up, and for a graphics controller, I used the VBox SVGA. And I gave it or allocated a 72 gigabyte virtual hard drive. Let's get started. GhostBSD. You have 5 seconds to make up your mind here. Most of the time, you're going to just boot into the multi-user. There may be a circumstance where you want to use the other ones. Something wrong with the bootloader, and you just need to boot in. But as a single user, I'm not sure of all the different cases. I am learning. It's going to take just a minute to load up. Let me bring up my notes here. If you go by the history of GhostBSD, their first desktop was GNOME, and it was version 1. It was released in March of 2010 based on FreeBSD 8.0, and it was the first available release. And I'll make sure all of these links here get in either as titles, get included either as titles or in the show notes. And there's some really nice ones here. Useful commands, command references, those things you'll probably want to look at. This update's just like the other one. PKG uses PKG. I see a desktop coming up here. Let me minimize this. And we got a desktop. Application menu is on the bottom. Settings, display. See if we can crank that up a little more. See, 1920 by 1080, that works. Keep this and close it. Right, Control F, get me in the full screen. Okay, so the installer is on the desktop. Let's go ahead and get that started, and then we'll talk more about GhostBSD. All right, correctly selected English as my language, but you can go through here and select whatever language you need. And click next. And then for the keyboard, I'm going to just do a test and include a couple symbols there. Looks good. Now for a time zone, America is correct, but the time zone will be the same as Chicago. Say next. We're going to do a full disk configuration. Next. Here is the hard drive, 72 gigs. And the only thing I'm really going to change on here is the amount of swap space. I allocated 12 gigabytes of virtual hard drive for the swap space, and that's the equivalent of it. Partition scheme. If I change this to MBR, it will not boot. It'll go through all the installation, but when it comes up the reboot, it'll just stop. So we're going to leave that as GPT. Say next. We selected our. Make sure you select your hard drive here. Leave the partitioning scheme alone. Now, in a real situation, on real hardware, I still had to change. I had to change this to MBR and install legacy mode, or else I couldn't get it to install in UEFI mode. So all this is good. I'm gonna say next. The only option we have here is FreeBSD BIOS loader only. Next. A root or administrator password. Says it's super weak, but who cares, especially on a virtual box. And it gave me a host name of Dennis GhostBSD PC. Username is Dennis. I'm going to need a password. And there we go. Now, we do have an option of changing the shell. And I'm going to leave it as the default, the fish. I'm used to, or I'm a little bit more familiar with SH. But since they default to fish, I'm going to leave it as that. I'm going to say next, and the installation has begun. Mount boot. So it's already installing some programs, so it must have did the mounting and formatting, all that right. So let's look at their menu here. We got the whisker menu right out of the box. It's already one of my favorites. Under accessories, we got the application finder, bulk rename, clipboard manager. Let me turn off that stuff real quick. Oh, I'll have to do it again, but just turn it off for now. It's getting in my way. Under accessories, we got the app finder, bulk rename, clipboard manager, mouse pad as a default editor, text editor, password and keys, a root terminal, which I really like that function of having that in the menu. Screenshot, task manager, Sonar file manager, and X archiver. Development, we have Glade. Graphics, we have the document viewer, and we have Shotwell for photographs. Internet, we have Firefox web browser as the default web browser. Very nice. Transmission to handle your torrent needs, which you could have used when you downloaded this video or this ISO. I'm sorry. Multimedia, we got Rhythm Box, which is a fairly nice music player. VLC media player for playing all your media files. So far, I've heard of people saying they have files that VLC media player will not work, but I've tried it on all OGGs, I've tried it on Waves, MP3s, everything I've thrown at it so far worked. Okay, so under Office, we have a dictionary, a document viewer. Didn't we just have a document viewer? Under graphics for some reason. All right, so under Office, we got the document viewer and evolution for their mail. Some people call it evolution. I'm not sure. You use it, call it what you'd like, as long as it works. All right, and here we have all our settings. We have system, we have bulk rename, print settings, software station, task manager, Sonar file manager, update station, and XFCE terminal, and fish shell. So let's just take a look around. That's the menu. Let's look around in here. Under appearance, we got change the theming a little bit. Under icons, we got pretty good selection of icons. Of course, if you're not favorites not in here, it's more than likely supported. Change that to bold just because I can. And my old eyes don't see quite as well. Clipboard manager, desktop, we change the wallpaper. That's beautiful. I love that one. Installation is complete, so we'll come back to this. I'm going to say continue. Let's see, is that a power button? Yeah. We're just going to shut down. And I'm going to remove I'm actually just going to turn the hard drive up to the first boot position. So I go to settings, system, take the hard drive, highlight it, and hit the arrow, take it up to the first one there, leave the ISO in place, and say start. And it remembered what we were doing. That's very nice signs. It recognized or assigned it as C drive. Now we got our boot menu, boot single menu. Nice. So far, it all looks like it's working great. I tell you, I didn't intentionally waited until now to even look at GhostBSD seriously. All right, login screen. Because it is all graphical. It's the only one that I've installed that is graphical. Very nice. Remember my screen resolution? We got 2 workstations down here. Got our date. Change that if you want to. Format date and then the time. Time only. Nice. Let's take it out to 24 hour. Yep, right here I think. 5 p.m. That's exactly right. I hate it when you install a OS and first thing you got to do is figure out how to adjust the clock because the clock didn't get adjusted during boot up or something. All right, I'm going to get rid of this desktop right here, the wallpaper, and go back and see if I can find that one. Is that it? Oh, that's beautiful too. That is awesome. Menus, this is your right click menu over here. Don't like something being in there, take it off, or if you want more, add it. Under icons, we're able to adjust the sizes. Boy, did you see how quick that responded? Nice. So there we go. Back to our menu then. We covered the whole menu. Let's see. According to the website, update station. Let's see if there's any updates. So when you open up the update station, it reaches out and it checks to see if your system needs any updates, and there's no updates available for this computer at this time. All right. Software station then. Is that under settings? There's update. There it is. Now this is their graphical package manager. When you first bring it up, it's going to sync the databases, sort of like Pac-Man SYY, only this is more like PKG update. Actually, the website, all the documentation say use this to do your updates. Find that interesting, an interesting choice compared to any other distros. There's only a couple others that I've even seen that where they recommend using their software. All right, let's see. Well, how come nothing's showing up? Something's not right. We're not really updated. See, we'll Pro-Alt-T, get me a terminal. How about that? So let's go sudo pkg update and give it a F to force it. Give it our password. Edit comps, ignore the package file. Running package, run OS version. Copy. But I'm gonna tell it not to ignore that. All right, now we're gonna go sudo pkg upgrade with the -F, force it. And this is probably going to reinstall the entire system. Upgrade it. Ignore the mismatch. Again, that warning right there. We're going to ignore it. We have this right here. 545. So yeah, this is going to actually basically download and reinstall the entire system. If that's what it takes to make it work, that's okay. And that's not uncommon. This is not an unusual, or it's not a, it's a problem that you may see occasionally. How's that? So I'm going to get out of full screen here since we've already looked at all the start menu items. We're going to pause the video and I'll be back. So I'm going to come back. It's not finished, but it is finished downloading, and it's asking me now, do I want to continue? And I'm going to say yes, hit enter. And as you can see, it's reinstalling everything. And if it'll stop, oh, warning, it's reinstalling. And I'm wondering if I'm going to get the same error that I'm stopping a boot process. Yep, I'm stopping the boot process. Right there. Another one. Oh, it's going too fast for me to try to stop one and highlight it. Yep. Right here. Right there. Booting, stopping a boot service. So I'm thinking it's stopping it so it can replace it, and then it's reinstalling it and enabling it again. I hope so. By the way, unless I didn't touch on this, GhostBSD uses OpenRC. To list all of the services, the startup scripts, rc-update space show. See all the installed scripts, rc update or -update space -v show. Start services by rc-service, the service name, and then start or stop or restart. Find out the status of the service. And I'm not going to go in too much detail about how to use this, but it's not that bad, and the documentation is fairly easy to follow. I will put all these links in the either as titles or in the description below, maybe even both, because these will be your good friends. Useful commands, all kinds of useful commands. Let's see what we're doing here. 536 and 546. So 10 left. Firefox even getting updated, upgraded. You might have noticed I did some changes and stuff. We got a green text on a black background. So I did a few little things just to make it easier for me to see, but none of this is going to stick as soon as we reboot. Looking to see if I see any bad notices. A lot of notices, but nothing that says we're in trouble. Let's see. Back down to the bottom of that somehow. Control L, clear that screen. So Pseudopkg update space -F. And I'm basically wasting my time right this second because it should say nothing. All repositories are up to date. And let's do this upgrade one more time. And again, it says packages to be reinstalled. We'll say no, but I am going to reboot and let those upgrades take effect. Boy, that got bright. Okay, that's good. BIOS drive is C. We got Grub. That's awesome. Press I to enter interactive mode. Enter interactive mode. Okay. So far, so good. We lost our resolution, but that's fairly easy to get back here, I think. There's settings. Display. Let's change that back to 1920 by 1080. Apply. Keep it and close. And I go back into full screen. Control F. Okay, now let me find a terminal. We'll Control Alt T, get me a terminal. It surely will. Now, does it remember history? Yeah, it does. So let's take the F off of that. Actually, let's close that out. Let's find the software updater. And let's let that run, our update station. No updates available for this computer. So now let's go find the software station. See if we can get that to show us some categories. All right, so it's syncing with the repository. It remembered my settings. Huh. And there we go. It looks like it's going to work. Well, that's all it was. Control Alt T. Bring this up real quick. Start off right here and say uname -R. And we see we're on, it's based on FreeBSD 13.0 stable. Change that to A. We get a little more information. FreeBSD, my host name, 13.0 stable, static, generic kernel, AMD 64. Nice. This is Software Station, and it works. I mean, let's see. Instead of just searching through the list there, let's say KPAT. Enter, and there it is. So I'm gonna just left click on it, say apply. Here are the dependencies it'll bring in, and we're gonna do that. Let's see, get back out of full screen for a second here. A couple things I want to install. Yeah, Xfce4 Pulse Audio. That's a hyphen, not an equals. Pulse Audio plugin, NoMax and KPAT we just did. So XFCE Pulse Audio plugin. And I've done some searches on when I demonstrated the Mate desktop, and all the software that I require is available. And I'm assuming that it's going to be available in here as well. I would certainly think so. Like Audacity, or actually, let's start with OBS Studio. That's how I record my videos. Then with Kden Live, that's how I edit them, and all that's available. Then Audacity to edit the audio. Also, Simple Screen Recorder. I use that quite often just to record something that I want to make sure I don't forget it, or I want to do a process and I want to make sure what works and what don't work. Then I record it with Simple Screen Recorder with no audio, and that way I don't forget it. And it's a lot easier to remember what you did, especially if you're going through a long process of trying different things, and I do that often. So it's still fetching, still downloading. Let's see, that was the XFCE Pulse Audio plugin. Get back in full screen here so we can see our menu. Still fetching. KDE Designer Plugin. All that's for the, do we have a games category yet? Nope. I thought this was a small, fast program to install. I guess I was wrong. One thing I don't like about the Software Station here, I'm not condemning it because it works. If it didn't work, then I would condemn it, but I'm not condemning it. I'm going to say this. I don't think there's no preferences, or at least none that are obvious. It'd be nice to have some preferences in here. You could even adjust the feel and look, maybe. I don't know. But I guess I'm basing that on PalMac, because in there you've got some settings that you can turn on or off. I just think we should have something here that says about. Extracting. So it is installing. It's downloaded them. It's installing it. KPAT or KPatience. Some distros know it as KPatience. Here it's known as KPAT. Updating the data, so we should be getting a games menu now. We do. And we got KPatience. Let's open it up. It works. Works. Let's see. I'm going to just look and see if you can Xfce4 Pulse Audio plugin. See if we can get that through the Software Station. Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and select that. Get back up here in the search bar here if it'll let me. And I'm gonna say NoMax. I prefer NoMax for a quick and easy way to look at my videos, or pictures, I'm sorry. Now this should bring in both NoMax and the Whisker. Yep, Pulse Audio right there. And notice I gave a password to open it up, but I'm not having to re-enter my password 100 times like you would most likely have a terminal. Let's see, we got start menu showed up. We got the package menu, Software Station demonstrated. We got Firefox. else? Is there anything in here that might be interesting? They come with any kind of something beside task manager. Oh, memory is 22%. It's not using any of the swap. The Control-Alt-T, 3, and 8. It's a different shell. Fetching. I'm going to pause the video while this is doing this. I'll be back. Okay, so it's back. I'm going to go ahead and just close out of this. And let's see if we got under graphics that we have NoMax. And now we have best way to do that, go to panel, items, type in volume, Pulse Audio plugin. We're going to add it, close. Just let me right click on it and say move. It will bring it over here before the clock. And there's our mixer right there. And I am on a virtual box. Recording. System sounds. I bet it would work. Let's see, do we have? Let's bring up VLC media player. Let's go to media. Say open multiple files. Let's browse. Go to the root. User. Is there a local? Yep, local share. Go down here. Scroll down as quick as I can. Sound. Right there. Speech dispatcher. It's only got one. Say play. I'm hoping you could hear that. I do. I did. Yep, I clearly hear it. So you got sound works right out of the box. GhostBSD, what can you say? Seems to be very nice. It's based on FreeBSD, updated to FreeBSD 13. It's got all the programs that I can think that I need. It seems to work. I would suggest if you're trying to BSD and you don't feel like going through one of the installers, try GhostBSD. If your XFCE is your desktop of choice and not Mate, they do offer it. And it is available, and you saw everything work. The terminal updates commands work, upgrade commands work, the software station work, the software updater work. Now, I did notice that when there is an update, the software updater will put an icon in the desktop. And like I said, there's no settings in there. So how do you adjust that? I don't know. I don't know if you can. You probably can. Notifications, that's where it'll show up. There's your power on and power off. Got our typical settings. Good to go. I'm going to conclude this video. This is GhostBSD based on FreeBSD 13. This is the XFCE community supported release. Thanks so much for watching. Y'all have a great day. I'll catch you on another video. Peace out. Bye.